If you've ever been a fan of Taylor Swift, like ever, you will know that Taylor loves to hide Easter eggs and clues in everything that she does. From writing hidden messages in the lyric booklets of her early albums, to teasing future album releases with the prices on her official store website, and even having millions of fans working 9 to 5 all over the globe as they tried to decode the vault tracks for 1989 Taylor's version. It's clear that Taylor loves planting secret clues for fans in her projects, often to hint at her future releases. And this fan teasing has become an almost expectation for fans, with everything Taylor produces being heavily examined by Swifties who are trying to identify links to what is coming up next on the Taylor Swift timeline. But what happens when a strange little word that appeared on an album cover snowballs into a huge online conspiracy theory amongst fans that many still believe to this day? Here's the story of Woodvale, the Taylor Swift album that never was. Or was it? On the 23rd of July 2020, to the surprise of quite literally everyone, American pop star Taylor Swift shared a series of posts across her social media pages, all with an image of herself stood amongst trees. The post was captioned, "Surprise, tonight at midnight I'll be releasing my 8th studio album, Folklore, an entire brand new album of songs I've poured all my whims, dreams, fears and musings into." And following the announcement of her surprise album and the anticipated subsequent meltdown from the Swifties, a few minutes later Taylor posted the track list for the album and announced a deluxe edition of the album which included an additional track titled The Lakes. And because Folklore was Taylor's 8th studio album, she was releasing 8 different versions of the deluxe edition, each with unique covers and images available from her online store. These 8 versions also had unique names: the In the Trees edition, In the Weeds, Meet Me Behind the Mall, Betty's Garden, Stolen Lullabies, Hide and Seek, Running Like Water, and Clandestine Meetings. These 8 versions of Folklore Deluxe were available in both CD and vinyl form, and as many Swifties frantically rebudgeted their monthly spending to account for all 8 versions of the album, which were obviously a must-buy, listen, I'm not knocking it, I love a collection, it wasn't until a little while later that Swifties started to examine the new alternate covers and noticed something a little strange. By mid-August of 2020, with a music video for the song Cardigan having been released alongside the album, and then the song itself reaching #1 on the Hot 100, as well as a different version of the song being released, as well as some merchandise, notably the Folklore cardigan, it was safe to say the Folklore era was well and truly underway. And during this time, a couple of weeks after the album's release, the deluxe CDs of Folklore with the alternate covers had begun to be shipped, much to the elation of Swifties, and soon images of the CDs began to be shared on social media. Then, on the 14th of August 2020, the user IvanLay1028 on Reddit shared an interesting discovery. In a post shared to the Taylor Swift subreddit, Ivan Lay wrote, "Hidden word on Folklore cover, both online and CD, none on other covers. Genuine error? ? Alongside this post, the account shared a series of images, the first image being the 6th variant cover of Folklore Deluxe, the hide and seek version, and in their post, Ivan Lay 1028 highlighted that hidden away in the top right hand corner of the album cover is a word barely visible, written in white, the word Woodvale. In the Reddit post, the user also shared an image of their hide and seek version CD, confirming that the hidden word also appeared on the artwork of the physical CD, although it's hidden beneath the sticker in their image that's on the plastic film, which the Reddit user didn't want to remove, which honestly, same, I'm one of those people too. The poster also went on to confirm that they had checked the other variant covers and none contained any hidden words other than the hide and seek version. In the comments of the Reddit post, other Swifties Swifties began to speculate as to whether the hidden word was an error or perhaps a code name for folklore, but with Taylor's known love for hints and Easter eggs, most fans concluded that it had to be there on purpose. It's time for Taylor to write and publish her Easter egg solution book, I Need Answers, and one user highlighted that the hidden word just so happened to appear on the cover titled Hide and Seek, so it was unlikely to be a coincidence because the word was quite literally hiding. Redditors also noticed that in the bottom left hand corner of the album cover, the words Taylor Swift can also be faintly seen, but obviously this was less interesting. Fans knew why Taylor's name would be on there because it's her album, but the word Woodvale, now that was a different story, because what was Woodvale? Shortly after the Reddit post was made, a Taylor Swift history Twitter account with the username On This Tay, incredible username by the way, shared the Reddit post in a tweet saying, "So do we think this means anything, or is it just a mistake? I think it's a mistake personally. From the official Hide and Seek CD artwork, it says Woodvale." The tweet only gained around 150 likes, but this was enough to get the hidden Woodvale mystery onto Swiftie Twitter, and it began to gain traction amongst fans as they were curious as to what exactly Woodvale was. What's Woodvale? At Taylor Swift. I told you they were curious. Some fans speculated that Woodvale would be the title of the next single. Others speculated that her next album would be called Woodvale, and some speculated that the Woodvale on the album cover was a reference to a place. Many Swifties went on to tweet about practically every place in the world that had Woodvale in its name, and then theorised on how this location could potentially linked to Taylor and folklore. One Swiftie suggested that there is a place in the Lake District, UK called Woodvale, and Lake Windermere, a lake in the district, was the inspiration behind the bonus track on the Folklore Deluxe album. And another Swiftie pointed out that the Woodvale Historic District in Pennsylvania was added to the National Register of Historic Places on the 24th of July 1992, and Folklore was released on the 24th of July 28 years later. As you can see, the theories and speculation, as usual with Swifties, was rife, but then nothing happened. Well, not yet anyways. Over the next few days, Woodvale seemed to become forgotten about amongst the fans, and was only mentioned sporadically, mainly as a bit of a remember that kind of thing. That was until Taylor decided to drop another bombshell. On the 10th of December 2020, less than 5 months after Folklore's release, and once again to the surprise of quite literally everyone, Taylor shared this image across her social media pages with the caption, "I'm elated to tell you that my 9th studio album and Folklore's sister record will be out tonight at midnight Eastern. It's called Evermore." Taylor goes on to explain that following Folklore, she just couldn't stop writing songs, and as she put it, she felt like she was at the edge of the Folklorian woods and had a choice whether to turn back or to travel further into the forest, and having chosen the latter, Evermore was made. And as you can imagine, the Swifties lost their minds. Again. Shortly after the announcement, Taylor shared the tracklist for the album, which included songs like Ivy and Willow, with Willow having a music video that continued the story of the Cardigan music video, picking up where it left off. Now, with Taylor's reputation, get it, for loving a good Easter egg, after the initial shock that new Taylor music was going to be released in less than 24 hours, the Swifties turned their attention to Taylor's post-Folklore pre-Evermore posts to see if they'd missed any clear hints at this second surprise album, and they soon found them. One user pointed out that Taylor had previously shared an image from her photo shoot with Entertainment Weekly that was released on the 8th of December on her Instagram story with the caption, "This outfit really screams, 'tis the damn season." Most people at the time assumed this was regarding the wintry weather Christmas vibe, but on the Evermore album there is a track titled "'Tis the damn season." Fans then also spotted that on the 9th of December, Taylor had tweeted to thank the LA Times for choosing Folklore as one of the top 10 albums of 2020, and in her tweet she used 9 tree emojis, 9 emojis, to tease her 9th studio album that she would announce the following day. And another Twitter user with the username Evermore Gus, which I presumed they changed to following the Evermore announcement, or their psychic, Cynthia Boyce Who, this Swiftie replied to an image Taylor had posted on the 22nd 22nd of November 2020, again prior to Evermore's announcement, and pointed out that framed in the background of the image was a willow tree, the title of an Evermore track, and in the frame just below it was an image of ivy, which also just so happened to be another song on the Evermore album. Now, with it being confirmed to fans that Taylor had been hiding hints and clues for her future project in the Folklore era visuals and posts, the question for fans remained, what was Woodvale, the word seemingly hidden on the hide-and-seek Folklore cover? Okay, but we still have no idea what the hell Woodvale means. Taylor Swift 10. Honestly, at this point, I would not be surprised. Following the announcement and subsequent release of Evermore, the theories about the hidden Woodvale word were reignited, and although some fans speculated that Woodvale would be explored or mentioned in Evermore, spoilers, it wasn't, because the word Woodvale follows the same 8-letter word pattern as well as the general vibe as the words Folklore and Evermore, the most common theory was that Woodvale was a third Taylor Swift album that would complete a trilogy of albums set in the Folklore world. Folklore, Evermore, and then Woodvale. Now, this Woodvale fan theory was not just based on the fact that all 3 words had 8 letters. The Swifties soon spotted other connections that seemingly confirmed to them that their third album theory was correct. First, in response to Variety's review of Evermore, Taylor tweeted speechless over this, with 3 of those praying hand/gratitude emoji things, and 3 days ago when Taylor had tweeted 9 emojis, it was because her 9th studio album was on the way. So could these 3 emojis mean third album, as in third album of the Folklorian trilogy? 3 emojis, Woodvale is coming. Another common piece of evidence used was that on Evermore, Taylor had a song titled No Body, No Crime, which features the band Haim, and for those unfamiliar with Haim, the band is composed of 3 sisters, and Taylor, in her Evermore announcement, referred to Folklore and Evermore as sisters, so fans speculated that, like the band, was Woodvale a third sister. Some Swifties also highlighted potential narrative aspects to Folklore and Evermore that indicated a third album could be on the cards, like the love triangle in Folklore. But perhaps the most convincing quote-unquote evidence that Woodvale existed, to fans anyways, was the merchandise on Taylor's official store. Now, as I'd mentioned earlier, for the release of her Folklore album, Taylor had a cardigan as merch on her online store, and fans pointed out that this cardigan had 3 stars, potentially representing 3 albums. But that wasn't all the alleged cardigan clues. Prior to the announcement of Evermore, as part of their holiday core collection, Taylor's online shop had released 2 other versions of the cardigan, a beige version and a grey version, so there were now 3 cardigans. And after Evermore was announced and the Woodvale theories reignited, the Twitter user Pace Like a Ghost shared an image of the 3 cardigans, linking them to albums. The original Folklore cardigan was linked to Folklore, obviously, and then it could be argued that the beige cardigan aesthetically looked like the cover of Evermore with its reddy orangey vibes, which left the grey version of the cardigan, which the user speculated matched Woodvale. And that wasn't the only trio of Taylor merch that was fanning the flames of the Woodvale trilogy fan theory. Alongside the cardigans, and also as part of Taylor's holiday core collection, Swifties, or people who just liked putting things in their hair, could buy a pack of 3 scrunchies in a set, the scrunchies being red, green and blue. At the time prior to the release of Evermore, this meant very little. It was quite literally just 3 hair ties. But post Evermore and pre-theorised Woodvale, these scrunchies had a new meaning. Stay with me here, because as the Twitter user Queen of TS Heart _ pointed out, for the release of Evermore, Taylor's online store was selling a green patterned candle titled The Eyes Full of Stars Candle, with The Eyes Full of Stars being a lyric from the song Cowboy Like Me, an Evermore track. But this candle wasn't the first time Taylor had sold candles on her store, as for the 2020 holiday core collection, again, a red patterned candle was available to buy called the For the Hope of It All candle, with For the Hope of It All being a lyric from August, a Folklore track. And as Swifties soon pointed out, if the red marbly pattern was for Folklore, see the red candle, and the green marbly pattern was for Evermore, see the green candle, what was the blue marbly pattern for in the scrunchy set? Woodvale. Many Swifties were adamant that the blue colour represented the third upcoming album. This blue marbly pattern also appeared in a gift wrapping set alongside its red and green counterparts, which also fueled the theory further. And to top it all off, it appeared that merchandise purchased from the store was being shipped with star confetti in packages with three colours: white, the colour of the Folklore album cover; orange, the colour of the Evermore album cover; and blue, the colour of the Woodvale album cover, perhaps. And following this discovery, one Swiftie on Reddit pointed out that at the end of the Willow music video, Taylor is wearing a blue dress, which, if there was another continuation of the music video storyline, like Cardigan to Willow for Woodvale, it would mean that the music video would open with Taylor wearing a blue dress. Loving Him may have been red, but fans were sure Woodvale was blue. And with Taylor's love for Easter eggs, clues and hints, and how well everything Woodvale just seemed to piece together, fans were sure they'd cracked the code. There were also other theories brought up amongst Swifties, including Taylor's hair being in a braid, which requires 3 sections of hair, and lots of other work with numbers, particularly involving 13, Taylor's favourite number. But to summarise, the Swifties were sure that Woodvale, a third Folklorian album, was on the way, but the question remained, when? Some fans speculated that this third mystery album would be released on the 30th of April 2021, citing that Evermore was released 140 days after Folklore, and the 30th of April would be 140 days after Evermore's release date. And interestingly, it was pointed out that the clock in the Cowboy Like Me music video was set at 4:30. 4 could mean April, and 30 could mean the 30th of April. And soon, the April 30th date seemingly became the consensus amongst fans. With all this Swiftie speculation and code breaking going on, the theory that there was a third Folklorian album titled Woodvale coming from Taylor soon began to be picked up by news sites, and actually gained a fair bit of traction outside of the Swiftie fandom. And as the theory spread and became viral, everyone seemed to be on the same page. Woodvale was coming. That was until the 14th of December 2020, only 3 days after Evermore's release, when Taylor dropped another bombshell. And this time, it wasn't an album. On the 14th, Taylor appeared on Jimmy Kimmel Live, and while being interviewed, Jimmy asked Taylor about the hidden Woodvale word and the theories of a third album, to which Taylor revealed that Woodvale was actually Folklore. Taylor explained that in order to ensure that the title Folklore remained a secret, she began to use Woodvale as a codename for the album, and then when creating mock-ups of the alternative album covers, used Woodvale as a placeholder. Taylor then decided that actually she didn't want the album title on the covers, and thus it was removed off them all, bar one, the hide and seek edition, where Taylor's team had just forgot to remove it. Thus, Woodvale accidentally remained on the cover. And so, in a way, the Swifties were technically right. Woodvale was a real album by Taylor Swift. It just wasn't a new third album to complete the Folklore Evermore trilogy. Instead, Woodvale was just Folklore. Help, you're telling me Woodvale was just a mistake? My life is a lie. Or was it? This is hard to believe because she's a perfectionist, but we'll give her the benefit of the doubt, although I still think there's a third album. And so, as you can see, although many fans accepted defeat that Woodvale was a myth, some fans didn't believe Taylor and became what's known as Woodvale Truthers. One Reddit user even went back to the original Woodvale Reddit post, and in response to someone who had guessed that Woodvale was the code name and the album cover was an error, wrote, "How does it feel to know that Taylor has read this comment and used it as her cover story?" Then, on the 16th of December 2020, 5 days after Evermore's release, Taylor Nation, the official Taylor Swift page, seemingly nailed the Woodvale coffin shut for many when they tweeted the following: "The witches have brought Woodvale to you in the form of the Woodvale collection, complete with the 3 #Willow versions and a new unreleased audio. Not Woodvale. I'm sorry we're clowns, but we didn't need to be mocked like this." So, she's trolling us at this point, right? I can't help but laugh. Following the Taylor Nation's official addressing of the Woodvale theories, Winky sticking out tongue, face and all, it appeared to be over. And this wasn't the first time that Swifties and their crazy theorising were off base, with the now infamous "there were 5 holes in the fence," a slightly deranged 2019 countdown theory based on Taylor's Instagram posts, which was later acknowledged by Taylor herself in an Instagram caption jokingly referencing the Swiftie Clownery. But despite Despite Taylor's fairly plausible explanation for why Woodvale appeared there, some Swifties didn't believe it and held out hope, believing that a new Taylor Swift album, Woodvale or otherwise, would still be released on the 30th of April 2021. But when that day finally rolled around, Taylor did not release Woodvale or any album at all. The Swifties had been clowning. Again, or had they? Because maybe the Woodvale Theory saga wasn't actually all over just yet. On the 19th of April 2024 at midnight, Taylor Swift released her highly anticipated album, The Tortured Poets Department. And then, 2 hours after the album's release, Taylor shared a post across her social media pages that read, "It's a 2 AM surprise. The Tortured Poets Department is a secret double album. I'd written so much tortured poetry in the past 2 years and wanted to share it all with you. So here's the second installment of The Tortured Poets Department, the Anthology. 15 extra songs, and now the story isn't mine anymore, it's all yours." So Taylor had released a second version of The Tortured Poets Department, which contained the original tracks as well as 15 new ones. And when fans got around to listening to the new tracks on the anthology, some Swifties found that these additional songs felt familiar. Halfway through the anthology, and guys, did we just get Woodvale? Swifties, especially the Woodvale Truthers, became increasingly confident that the 15 extra tracks on the anthology album version were Woodvale. I'd know Woodvale anywhere, by the way. Welcome back, Woodvale. And fans even began to theorise connections between the narratives of Folklore and Evermore and the narratives of the anthology songs, in particular the track Peter. So, was the new anthology Woodvale, the secret sister album to Folklore and Evermore? Well, in Taylor's tweet announcing the Tortured Poets Department anthology, she said that she wrote the songs in the past 2 years, but fans were expecting Woodvale to be released over 3 years ago. So, if the 2-year thing is accurate, it's unlikely to be Woodvale, if Woodvale was a thing. Theoretically though, Taylor could have seen the Woodvale third Folklorian album Fan Frenzy and then subsequently recorded some Woodvale-esque tracks and released them on the anthology. And interestingly, when Taylor announced Evermore back in December 2020, Taylor wrote that post-Folklore they couldn't stop writing songs, thus Evermore was born, which is similar to how she announced the anthology, with the idea of having wrote too many songs for just one album. So, does Woodvale, a third secret Taylor Swift album that completes the Folklorian trilogy, actually exist? At this point, who knows? Well, Taylor for one, she definitely knows. But if Woodvale does exist, whether in the vault or now repackaged as the Tortured Poets Department, the Anthology, I'm sure Woodvale, wherever it is happy knowing that its die-hard fans, the Woodvale Truthers, have their own merch. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like and subscribe, and if you want to support the channel further, consider checking out my Patreon.